Okay, so if you're watching this video, you probably know what this is. 100 US dollars, 100 bucks, one Benjamin. And if I saw you on the street tomorrow and I handed you a $100 bill, you'd probably have no trouble finding some way to use it. But look, I haven't started this video with a crisp hundy only as a cheap way of getting your attention. I want to talk about this guy, Benjamin Franklin, the most charming and quotable of all of the founders. In particular, this gem. The great part of the miseries of mankind are brought upon them by false estimates they have made of the value of things. Miseries brought about by false estimates of the value of things. Franklin's hitting on an idea that we should all think about more often. How do we come to understand the value of things? Now, if you stick with me and watch more of these videos, you're going to see a pattern. And that pattern is that I tend to get a bit obsessed with certain words and their meanings. This is particularly true for those words that are both critically important and widely misunderstood or misused. This week's word is value. The concept of value is critical in business and economics and in our day-to-day lives. But, and maybe because value is so important a word and an idea, its meaning has shifted and distorted over time. Like so many of our words, this one comes from Latin, and its roots are even older. It shares those roots with words like prevail and valor and valiant, all words having to do with this idea of strength and wellness and power. Now, value is not a simple concept. The question of what gives something its value has occupied philosophers and economists for thousands of years. They've tried to figure out questions like the diamond water paradox. Water is essential for life, but it's much cheaper than diamonds, which have almost no real use. We tend to associate value with price. We see prices as a reflection of people's collective judgment about something's value. The more valuable it is, the more expensive it should be. But ironically, we also use the word value to describe the exact opposite, something that's inexpensive. When we say a product or a service or a store is good value, we mean that you get a lot without having to spend too much. Maybe price isn't the best or only way of understanding something's value. That's what Oscar Wilde was getting at when he described a cynic as someone who knows the price of everything and the value of nothing. How else can we understand value? Warren Buffett, our most quotable billionaire, has a good rule of thumb. Price is what you pay, value is what you get. This is the meaning of value that you most often hear business people and entrepreneurs use. It's what they mean when they talk about value propositions or creating value. This is the reason that someone, a customer, buys a particular product or service for the use, utility, or benefits that they get. Most of the time, we don't really think about the reasons why we're buying something. Think of a simple cup of coffee. Now let's consider some of the different kinds of value that you might get from a cup of coffee. There's the pleasure you get from the taste and the smell and the warmth, or in this case, the coldness of the drink. Coffee is delicious and satisfying. Now, coffee is a social drink. We drink it in places like cafes where people get together. We say, let's meet for coffee. So there's the conversation and connections and the relationships that we associate with coffee. Then, of course, there's the caffeine, the stimulation, energy, focus you get from coffee. Perhaps even a sense that it's helping you accomplish things. Now, coffee has become a bit of a luxury item. A cup of coffee can run you $5 or $6 or more. So there's a sense of spoiling yourself with something special. Coffee's a treat or a reward. As coffee has become more exotic in terms of where it comes from, it may give you a sense of adventure. You may imagine you're drinking something that links you to people and places far, far away. And finally, with that link to those people growing your coffee in beautiful, faraway places, you might be willing to spend a little more to make sure that those farmers are earning a living wage for their labor. Coffee can give you a sense of fairness or even economic justice. The value we get from anything, even a simple cup of coffee, is complex. And to make it even more complex, that value is different for each of us. You may buy the same cup of coffee I do from the same place, but for very different reasons. Value is subjective. It varies from person to person. We can say that value is in the eye of the beholder. And that gets us to the final and most profound meaning. the values that define us as individuals, organizations, and societies. Values are those ideals that we hold most dear. They're our principles, our beliefs, and our standards. This meaning of value isn't commercial. It's fundamental to who we are and what we believe and why we do the things that we do. Pay attention to the decisions that you make this week about how you spend your money, your time, and your attention. What kind of value are you getting? And what does it say about your deeper values? I think you'll find it valuable. Thanks for watching. See you next time.